Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again it is Sunday, and that means it's time for the Texas Gun Vault Poll Question of the Week, a weekly vlog that I put out where I ask you as my viewers and subscribers about something that deals with guns, gun culture, politics, current events, the news, or something fun like EDC that I want to get your thoughts and opinions on. And this one I think is going to be a doozy because I think I'm going to piss off some people in my audience. Not because we all don't support the Second Amendment, but I think because we support the Second Amendment in different ways. So let me explain. You guys know I'm a collector. That's what I enjoy doing. I love looking at the mechanics of firearms and learning about their history. Some of you guys might just be into hunting or skeet shooting or competitive shooting. Well, I support your rights to do all those things, even if that's all that you care about doing. But I hope that you guys support my aspect of firearms collecting because we're all under the umbrella of the Second Amendment. I also know that when it comes to our stances on politics and which side of the aisle you may stand on, we actually might differ. Even though we think it's a black and white issue, that one party supports guns and one party doesn't, that's not always the case. And so where I stand might actually surprise you, but we'll get into that. But before we do, let's dive right into this week's question. This past week, we heard the news that the Republicans will take control of the U.S. House of Representatives in January of 2023, when the new Congress is sworn in. Ostensibly, the Republicans have a platform that is outwardly more pro-Second Amendment than the Democrats. While they do not control the Senate or the presidency, the House controls the budget and can stop anti-gun legislation. Do you think with a slim majority in the U.S. House of Representatives, the Republicans will do anything to advance a pro-gun agenda in the next 2 years? And of course, the reason I'm asking this question is because the Republicans taking the House of Representatives really is a big deal. No, it wasn't as big as everybody was expecting, but they still took the majority. I think as of right now, when I'm filming this, there's an expectation that they're going to get between 222 and 224 seats, which is enough to have that majority. And the House of Representatives is where all spending bills have to be created. They cannot be created in the Senate. So this gives the House a very special place when it comes to our legislature and the powers that are delegated to them. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself when it comes to politics. You guys are wondering, what was he talking about? What side of the aisle he stands on? I am actually a libertarian. I do not support the Democrats in any way, shape, or form, but over the years I've become more and more disenchanted, shall we say, with the Republicans because they say one thing and then they end up doing another. For example, I know that there's probably a lot of you out there that absolutely love Donald Trump. But let's be real about this. We got more anti-gun legislation and more ATF anti-gun rules under the Trump administration than we did the Obama administration. Was it because Obama wasn't trying hard or was pro-gun in some way? Actually, no. It's just because the Republicans are so spineless. They won't stand up for anything. I always think it's important to never underestimate your enemies. And in this case, I'm talking our enemies are the people of the United States that are anti-gun, people that will vote for an anti-gun agenda, legislators that will promote an anti-gun agenda. Those are our enemies. Not from a I want to fight you standpoint physically, but we have to battle them in the arena of ideas. But when it comes to this whole agenda and what the Republicans claim that they stand for, it doesn't always match up with what actually happens. For example, I am personally friends with my congressman. I know him personally. I talk to him on Facebook from time to time. I've even talked to him about gun issues and the NRA. He's even been to our house. He's a nice guy. And when you see all the things he talks about, he sure talks a great game. He is a very strong conservative that loves the Second Amendment. But yet, when it comes to him being reelected this year, he's going to support Kevin McCarthy for majority leader, or I guess Speaker of the House. And so what does that mean? It means that he knows full well that Kevin McCarthy isn't some stalwart conservative that's going to promote the Second Amendment. He's just going along with the party. And so what's really going to happen? You know, the one thing that I say, never underestimate your enemies. is that when the Democrats have a majority in any house, anywhere in the United States, whether it be a state house or Congress, by one vote, they work hard as a unified body to ram through their agenda. They never stop. One vote is all it takes, and they will try to fundamentally transform whatever it is they possibly can, from society to government. But even when the Republicans have massive victories and overwhelmingly control legislatures, what do? Nothing. They never roll back anti-gun legislation. They're always like, well, we can't pass this. We gotta be bipartisan. And many times there's people amongst the ranks that goes, well, I gotta vote like the Democrats because I come from this liberal district and they want me to vote this way. That's fine and all. But we never seem to get the ball across the goal line. We never truly repeal an egregious anti-gun law, as much as the legislators want to tell us they are. As I'm going back to my congressman, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Okay, we got you elected. What you going to do? Oh, we don't have enough vote. We're not even going to try because we just can't. Well, then why am I voting for you? I want to vote for a fighter. Now, here's the other thing, too, that I told you you guys might be upset with me about. I have always been a big proponent of voting. I keep telling you guys, go out and vote. I no longer feel that way. I have been disenchanted by our system and the Republicans because, number one, they don't do anything. I am tired of voting against people. When it comes to elections, often I vote against the Democrats and not for the Republicans. The Republicans have to earn my vote from now on. As a libertarian, I owe them absolutely nothing. Yes, I agree with their platform a lot more than I do the Democrats. However, I'm not going to vote for them. In fact, I unregistered myself to vote. I didn't vote in this last election and have no plans to. And it's not because I don't care. It's because I don't want to vote against things. I am ready to vote for somebody, even if that person cannot get anything done. And I told my congressman this. I don't care if you don't have the votes. I expect you to fight. I expect you to write the bill. I expect you to propose the bill, and I expect you to push for the bill. Even if Joe Biden will veto it and you don't have the votes to override the veto, even though it will never get through the Senate, you fight like hell, just like the Democrats do. But what do the Republicans do? Nothing. And that's just my personal observation. And I know a lot of you guys right now are probably upset with me, saying you are telling people to do the wrong thing. No, I am telling you to do what you think is best. You follow your heart. If you want to go out and vote, you go and vote. If you want to vote for a Republican, vote for a Republican. If you want to vote for a Democrat, vote for a Democrat. I don't believe that your votes matter anymore, because as of right now, the Democrats and the Republicans on a whole plethora of issues are essentially the same thing. You know, one of the people that I follow who's a political commentator is Tim Pool. And often he says the Republicans are just the Democrats, but going at the speed limit. Do the Republicans ever pull back anything? No. They just keep spending the same way. They keep making government bigger. They never, ever stop. They just might not go as fast as the Democrats, but they still get us to the same destination. And as culture changes further and further to the left, they become further and further to the left. And we never truly have an opposition. We just have one party going at one speed and one party going the other direction. So I know I've kind of rambled on. I've probably pissed off some of you guys. Some of you guys are saying frantically in the comment section right now, Jason, you got it wrong. And I totally understand. As I said, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you how I feel. And I am ready to vote for people. But who knows? Maybe the next 2 years will change my mind. I am always open to having my mind changed. And that's what this question is about. So before we go through my opinions on each one of these, let's see what you guys had to say with this week's results. With 814 votes as of me filming this video, we have yes, they will defund the ATF and pass pro-gun bills, 3%. Yes, they will limit ATF rulemaking and stop anti-gun bills, 8%. Neutral, they will just stop anti-gun bills from passing, 40%. No, the Republicans are weak, worthless, and spineless, 49%. And something else, explain in the comments, 1%. And it seems like with a grand total of 89% of you guys who voted, you guys think either nothing is going to happen or they're actually going to pass some type of anti-gun legislation. And I agree with you 100% because we have history on our side. And I already know what the arguments are going to be. Well, we only control 1/2 of 1/3 of the government. I totally get it. I'm not expecting you to actually get it through Congress and have Joe Biden pass it and sign it into law, but I'm expecting you to fight like hell. This is how we have to change the culture, change the hearts and minds of people. Show us that you're fighters. Rally the base. Make us want to go out and vote for you instead of it just being the same thing over and over again. Now, unfortunately, in the next 2 years, statistically speaking, there's probably going to be something that happens in the media and in the world when it comes to guns. And you guys know the type of events that I'm talking about. And what's going to happen? There's going to be an immediate push for gun control, and the Senate's going to rush through with something as fast as they possibly can. And what are the Republicans going to do over in the House? They're probably going to have 10 or 15 members from California or New York and go, well, we got to do something. And of course, they'll water down the bill and they'll pass some type of anti-gun agenda or bill. It might be very small, but it would happen because once again, they have to do something instead of doing nothing and saying enforce the laws that are on the books. You know, the ATF just got a huge funding increase. Well, why aren't they enforcing the laws that are already on the books? But that's how I think about it and how I think it's all going to go down. Let's go through each one of these and I'll give you guys my personal thoughts and opinions. First, we have yes, they will defund the ATF and pass pro-gun bills. Man, that would be sweet. And the most important thing I think would be that they could do is defund the ATF. They could say, listen, okay, you guys want to do all these anti-gun measures? We're not giving the ATF any funding whatsoever. They can do that and they could hold the line because all spending bills have to originate in the House. But then when it comes to the Senate, they can say, hey, we need this money. And the Republicans in the House can hold firm and go, no, we'll give you everything else. We're not going to fund the ATF. And they can shut down government if they're willing to hold it up. But of course, you know, they won't. They'll come back to you and go, well, we've already appropriated these funds in past Congresses, and we just have to keep that up. And once again, the ATF tyranny will continue. They'll continue to pass all these anti-gun rules, making it harder for you as the lawful and responsible American gun owner of acquiring guns, possessing guns, and so forth. And not even being able to navigate the basic waters of gun ownership because it's so convoluted. Will the Republicans in Congress do anything? Of course not. But that's my opinion. But man, would it be cool if they defunded the ATF. No, I actually think the ATF does have a legitimate role in things. You know, I want the NFA repealed. We're not going to get the NFA repealed anytime soon. I think we should be fighting for it. But you know what they could do? Is make sure the NFA branch is funded. These 1-year wait times on eForms and paper forms, it's ridiculous. Why can't they say, hey, we're going to quadruple or quintuple the amount of examiners. We're going to make this less of a burden for American gun owners until we can get the NFA repealed. Is that ever going to happen? Well, maybe one day, but until then, at least you can make things a little bit better, and then you can defund the other aspects of the ATF where they're just stepping on people's rights. But will they? Most likely not. Then we have yes, they will limit ATF rulemaking and stop anti-gun bills. And you know, this is another power that Congress and especially the House of Representatives have. They can look at rulemaking of these agencies and actually make them have to go through congressional approval. Most of the time, they don't. But they have the ability to go, whoa, 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 what is this rule you passed? We didn't give you authorization to do this. And they can have those rules repealed. That's something that they can do. They can bring these people in front of committees and interrogate them. And by interrogate, I mean question them and go, why are you trying to step on the rights of Americans in contrary to the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution? Will they? Probably not either. But they also may just stop anti-gun legislation. That's something that we can really hope for because we know that the Biden administration is going to try to pass laws and there's certain things they can't do through rulemaking, and it's really important that these bills don't go through the House. So that is one good thing that they possibly can do. Then we have neutral. They will just stop anti-gun bills from passing, and that's what I'm talking about. I can definitely see where this might be the outcome. 40% of you guys do think that is the case. Well, they'll give lip service. We have to do do something. They'll have a committee hearing if some type of tragedy occurs in order to do something. But they'll be like, we just can't muster the votes to pass it. And then nothing happens. And honestly, that's an okay scenario, I guess. But once again, unless we're advancing the ball in the pro-gun direction, things are never going to get any better. Every time the Democrats are in control, they're always trying to advance the ball in the anti-gun direction. It's time for our side to try to advance the ball in the pro-gun direction. Then we have, no, the Republicans are weak, worthless, and spineless. 49%, almost 50% of all respondents believe this, and this is where I would have voted. Because once again, the Republicans are weak and spineless. Just like I said, the Trump administration gave us more anti-gun legislation and rulemaking than the Obama administration did. What else do you want me to say? I don't care if he says the attack on your Second Amendment is over. No, you gave the ATF the ability to make all these egregious rules. How can I vote for you? I don't care. I am tired of voting against the other guy and then you paying me lip service to get my vote and then you do the exact opposite. I'm not saying I hate Trump. I like Trump. I like Ron DeSantis. But you know what? They're not pushing a pro-Second Amendment agenda. For real, they do pay it lip service. But I'm not going to vote against the Democrats. I want to vote for somebody, and they have to earn that vote. But right now, I'm not even registered to vote. And one of the reasons I'm not registered to vote is I want nobody fraudulently voting in my name. And I made sure my name was off the list. And then we have something else explained in the comments, only 1%. And I read all the comments and I'm not really sure who would have voted for this because everybody either said the Republicans were spineless or all we can hope for in general is to stop the anti-gun legislation. So that was your results. So now let's see what you guys had to say with this week's top-rated comments. And with this week's top-rated comment, we have Joshua Jackson 5656 who says, I want to say the Republicans will do something constructive this time around. However, the rhinos are still the ones in leadership positions. Until we see McConnell and McCarthy gone, I'm not real optimistic. Those cowards will more than likely cut some backdoor deals like the pieces of trash they are. Yes, that's pretty much what I was saying the whole time. They will give you lip service. We're pro-Second Amendment, but, and there's that but, as soon as that happens, you know they're going to pass something. Even if it's very small, it still advances the ball in the anti-gun direction. Then we have Brian Edgett, 2134, who says, I'm thinking that they may slow down some, but not all. We all saw what we got from the Republicans this year. There you go. Once again, it looks like everyone feels the same way that I do. Then we have Joe Morgan, Eat My Shorts channel. What an interesting name. We have, I think it will be more of the same, sadly. And, yep. Absolutely. And I want to say, guys, this is kind of a tangent to what we're talking about right now. YouTube has changed what your names look like in the comments section. It just used to be your names or whatever you wanted them to be. Now they're handles. So they have @ signs in front of them and you can change those because the next person I don't think has set theirs up. We have user-NX4UH2IQ4I. You got to go into your account settings and change that. Has wings of the same bird. Yep, another person who says the same thing that I do. And then finally we have Jack Bauer 9077 who says, small majority, I worry a few could cave and write or go along with a gun control bill. I hope we can avoid that and maybe in 2 years get Senate and President back, but I still doubt they will do anything. Yeah, and isn't this really sad? I know a lot of you guys are probably energized to go out and vote. And maybe you live in a district where your side won. But you also know realistically, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to fight for you. So why do we play this game every 2 years? Why do they keep us all hyped up? I'm going to go to DC. I'm going to fight for your gun rights. The attack on your Second Amendment is over. And they go there and they live like fat cats and don't actually do anything. Why do we play this game? We need to withhold our votes until someone is willing to do it. I know some of you guys say that's a dangerous game to play, but you're already losing. What do you have to lose? Even when our side wins in Congress, we still lose because they pass anti-gun bills. They still allow anti-gun rules to take effect. We still lose. When you win, you still lose. It makes no sense. And as long as we put up with it, we're always going to be losers. So what's the answer? I don't know. We need to vote for people that are actually going to do something. And when they go there and don't do anything and don't stand up for what they believe or say they believe, you vote them out in 2 years. You don't keep them in there saying, well, they didn't do anything bad. We'll just kind of keep them in there because the alternative is bad. And once again, you're voting against somebody instead of voting for somebody. It's time that we vote for somebody. That's just how I feel and why I am so disenchanted and no longer vote, because my vote doesn't matter. Do you really think that if I vote for somebody, let's just say I voted for Donald Trump in the last election, do you think Joe Biden goes, well, there were 80 million people who voted against me. Maybe I need to temper the things that I believe or say or try to pass because these people's voices were heard. No, he doesn't do that. They're going to ram through their agenda that fundamentally transforms America by one vote. Well, the majority spoke. They don't care about you, and your voice doesn't matter because we have people up there that do not fight for you. They just go along to get along. So there you go. That is the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week. And man, oh man, was I fired up. This is something that I'm really passionate about and I don't really speak about on my channel too much. So what do you guys think? Am I wrong? Do you hate me now? Are you frantically telling me how wrong I am in the comments and unsubscribing? That's okay if you do, because I respect your opinions. We're all on the same team in the end. We're all Americans. We all love the Second Amendment. We can all do this different ways. I hope that we all fight for the same team and can come together behind a single banner to promote the Second Amendment. But until that day, I know that we're going to be a bunch of disparate factions. I just wish that wasn't the case. So what do you think? Tell me how wrong I am in the comments, or tell me how I'm right. But let's have a very civil discussion because once again, we're all on the same side here. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. And if you would like to participate in next week's poll, please go to the community tab of my YouTube channel. I will also post a link in the description. Go over there, see what the poll is about, vote, comment, and like other people's comments so we can get the top rated comments of the week. And if you have an idea for next week's poll, please email me at texasgunvault@gmail.com. In fact, this next week's poll is coming from a viewer. So I always want to give everybody credit. So let me know what you think and email me with any ideas for future polls. So, as always, thanks for watching.